Here's my story of how I went from making $400 a week to making $400K in a year selling life insurance at the age of 23. So here's my full background of how I got into insurance and how I got started into insurance and what I did beforehand, so nobody thinks I'm just some magical man who just walked in insurance and is killing it. I would make about $400 a week at a grocery store, like I said. I started at that grocery store when I was the age of 16, being a bag boy, worked my way up to being a cashier next, and then working as a dairy person next, and etc. next, and then I worked my way up right after I graduated high school to become a manager, and that paid me most, like the $400 a week. So before that, I was making even less. The moment I graduated at the age of 18, literally the month after I graduated, I moved out, had my own place, and used my $400 a week to survive off of. So that's what I was living off of there. My dad actually took a thing from his job because they were doing layoffs, and they offered him like half of his 401k until he got a new job, etc. So he took that and he actually found insurance. When I was 18, leaving the house, he just got into insurance, and he wasn't killing it, doing nothing crazy. Brand new agent, just got into it. So I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated. I didn't want to go to college. I was debating trade school. So that's why I got into full time at the job I was at until I figured it out. College wasn't made for me. I just didn't see it as a thing for me. Trade school, I was probably going to do that if my dad never found an ad for life insurance. And to be clear, he's not killing it in the life insurance game or anything crazy like that in the beginning. There was no handouts for me. I actually failed my exam 4 times before I passed. So the first year, I was 18, 19, I tried to pass it. I went from like a 50 to a 69 to a 69 in the same week. At that point, I gave up. I quit. I got 2 69s in a row. I was like, yeah, this isn't made for me, dude. Like, this sucks. I can't pass the exam. I'm a terrible test taker. Doesn't matter, etc. I had all the excuses. It's like all of us do at some point. I had the excuses too. And then finally, I was barely surviving off of my $400 a week. I used to have to steal some food from the grocery places to survive and eat, because after all my bills were paid, I could probably barely afford to buy groceries. So for me, it was that. At the next point, I then got fired from my job from stealing time because I needed extra money. So I would clock in early and not actually work on those time frames because I live like 5 minutes away. So I actually clock in early, leave a little bit, come back at a scheduled time I was, just to get a few extra bucks on my check because I really needed it. And I don't know why I didn't actually just work it. I don't know. I was being lazy. I really don't know. So once I got fired from that job, I knew I had to do insurance. My dad was probably doing insurance now for about a year or two at this time frame, just doing regular, $20K a month in production, not killing it. But I seen some stuff, and I seen him slowly changing, and I was like, I really got to get into it. This is the only opportunity I have. To me, I was like, I'm too old to do a trade school now. It's too late. I need to do something. So I actually took about a week and a half, a week, maybe max 2 weeks to strictly just study. No income coming in. My last paycheck was coming in from the 9-to-5 job within a week or two. All my bills were due. I had no money. I finally passed the exam with like a 75%. I then got straight into insurance with $60 to my bank account, okay? I didn't have nobody buying my leads. Nobody ever bought my leads. I didn't have lead assist, whatever it was. The first batch of leads I got were about 2 to 3 years old. And this was like during COVID, or like right after 2020. So it was like 2021 when I got licensed, I believe. So telesales still wasn't like a big thing then, but face-to-face was slowly falling off because people were scared for you to come in their house. So it was a really very, very weird time during that time frame. So I got some crusty old leads with $60 in my bank account. My first sale I did was like a 1.2K. And then that week I wrote $5,000. The next week I wrote $5,000. In my first 30 days of doing sales, insurance sales, I actually paid about $20,000. And for me, at that agency at the time, they normalized 20K issue paid. We like to normalize 40K, but they normalized 20K. So to them and to me, I was killing it. And every deposit I actually got from insurance, I just put it right back into the business. Like I said, I used to live off of $400 a week. So if I could just pay my simple bills and not live above my means and not go upgrade because I just got deposited $8,000 a month, whatever it was, I was cool with it. So I put everything right back into the business to start buying newer leads. And when I say newer leads, the leads were still aged by like a year. I paid like $1 for them. And I would sit in the back of an office from 8 o'clock in the morning to about 8, 9, 10 p.m. at nighttime, sitting there doing $800 a day back in the office, running 2 days. So running Tuesday, Wednesday, running Friday, Saturday to make money. I ran like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I would drive an hour away to wherever city, wherever had the leads that I could go to, I would go get them. And I would work all day, every single day, to the point where right when I got home, I couldn't even shower. I just fell asleep on the bed when I sat down. Like, I was so tired. And that's what I did for about a majority of almost like 6 to 12 months. I did that for, just to build it up. And for me, it wasn't all about the money up front that I would get, which is why I just always put it back into the business. I also knew, because insurance pays renewals on the back ends, that I would get more money on the back ends too. So I didn't need to survive right now and live a lavish lifestyle. I just wanted to get some deposits coming in and keep my clients on the book, knowing I actually get paid from them in the future. So that's really how I started doing it. And then I messed up in sales, and I was one of those salespeople who would sell it like, hey, well, we're just going to see if you're pre-approved, and you can make your decision after that if you want to cancel it. And so I would always submit apps almost like that identically. And then eventually I would get paid before the client made the first payment, because I got the advance. So eventually it all hit me at once. One day I woke up to like 10 to 15 grand in insurance debt. Like, I had chargebacks out of the roof because I was selling it like that. And it all happened like around November, December, Christmas time. And for me, I couldn't pay it all in full. So I had to start payment plans. And then I had to keep buying my leads, and I had to pay my bills, and nobody was helping me. I'm a grown man by myself, and I didn't ask nobody, not even daddy, for help. So I was doing that. It got so bad for me, but I believe so much in the business that I started to go negative thousands of dollars in my bank account, and I got photo proof of it. Literally, I couldn't afford the insurance toolkit. My rent would bounce because I would put all the money that was going to go to these things just to buy leads, because I knew what it could do for me, and I knew the money it could bring me. And I knew for me, the only way to get out of the hole was to do insurance and buy leads. So I would go negative $1,000 in debt. Like, I tricked my bank to let me go that far. I think my balance was supposed to be like negative $200 or $250 with Chase. And I tricked them to literally let me go negative. By the way, keep in mind, this was probably about 6 months to 8 months ago. Freshly just happened. Like, where I was going so bad down that, like, I wanted to quit insurance, but I knew I couldn't. So I had, every time I got paid, my deposits went to paying off the companies, like a monthly payment paying to the insurance companies, because I messed up so bad. So I was actually going negative. After that, I finally got out of the hole. One day I woke up to positive $20,000 in my bank account. Since that time frame, fast forward, I've been just killing it now. I basically started like the agents who strike great and people get scared because they're going to hit a fall off and they're going to do bad, and then they got to even out. That was me. I started off great. I wrote 20 grand every single month of insurance. That was regular for me. Eventually, I then started to learn how to write 40 grand a month, which really turned everything around because it started doing double. That's why, like, the norm is 10K a week for me. So 10K a week, paying my bank deposits were getting paid about 40 grand a month, not counting for my downlines. On my own pen, I was making 400 grand a year in insurance by just really working and pushing it through. I don't have the best story. I don't have a pretty story. I didn't start off great, magical. I probably started off worse than half of the people I bring onto my team now. And they never will have to go through that because I can now teach them to avoid that. So it's a great story to start, but it was terrible in the time frame, to the point where I couldn't even afford the insurance toolkits. I couldn't afford rent. Only thing I was trying to afford and really couldn't afford is leads. And the leads I was working were not the greatest. They were $5 a pop. And I was spending like $1,000, $2,000 a week on them. And that's really all I could do. And trick my bank every time. Because when a deposit came in, if I was at negative 2 grand, I was at negative 1 grand. I could keep tricking it. Or if I got paid 2 grand, I was $0 in. Money went right back out to lead again because I had to buy more. So I just literally kept investing into my business, knowing at some point I'm going to see a return. And for me too, I'm glad I didn't care about the front end money in the beginning, because my renewals and my back end money, I never seen them hit my account because it went from the carriers who I had chargeback with them paying them off. So luckily for me, like, I mean, in a bad way for me, I didn't get the feelings of 10, 11, 12 of renewals until I was like 2 years in the business out of the debt from the insurance carriers, because it was always going there. So it was even a bigger struggle for me. But at this point, I'm very glad that I did it because it helped me pay off the debt faster and not be in such a big hole in the beginning. So for me, the biggest thing that you can do in insurance to make 400 plus grand a year on your own pen without building a team just yet is just invest 100% of your time and effort into it. I lived, breathed, and slept insurance 24/7. I worked on perfecting my craft. Every night I was rebuilding my in-home script, how I sounded. I was recording myself. I was doing everything I could to study the playbook to become the starting quarterback to my favorite team. That's what I did, and I breathed it every single day until I got good at it. Even to this day, if I'm selling, I still record myself and I still perfect my craft because I want to be great at what I do, and I want to be able to help every family I can talk to and not be the person and not have a next agent call them and do what I didn't do and make a sell because I wasn't good at perfecting my craft. So if you sit there and you actually perfect your craft, live below your means. Don't go because you started making 20 grand consistently in a month even. Start going on vacation, start buying new cars, start doing whatever, spoiling everybody in your family, buying everybody dinner. Don't do that. Invest into yourself. Keep living below your means. You used to live with the lifestyle you lived before you started insurance. Don't start to outgrow that because then your months are going to go from high to not so high because you're always on vacation. And then the money don't stop flowing in. Then you start struggling to buy leads because you spent all your money. You have to learn to put everything back into the business and it will outpay you and it will pay you great in the future. You have to just believe in it and keep investing to yourself. Whether you're struggling in insurance now, whether you're killing the insurance game now, or if you're just looking to get started in insurance and want to see the opportunity, there's a link down below in this video description. You can apply to set up an interview with me, and we'll interview to see if you're a good fit for the team and see how we can help you and grow you past whatever struggles you're hitting with now, or if you just want to be part of our winning team.